Good day. This is the first in a series of 3 videos exploring the deeper context of what I'm calling the Trump Doctrine. And so, some thoughts today on the American trade war. Why is this happening? Recent news and media has given us several avenues to explore in our thoughts regarding the Trump Doctrine. References to annexing Canada and Greenland, implied threats to abandon NATO, rumors to the effect of leaving the United Nations in some fashion, all without specifics or details beyond simple media outbursts and musings. More directly and pragmatically, Trump has applied a variety of tariff threats to the great majority of American trade partners, wholly unannounced or negotiated in a seemingly economic strategy to rectify trade imbalances, real or perceived, that were accepted in prior negotiations. The rhetoric is always directed at the American electorate, in which the voters are alerted to America being ripped off or treated unfairly or taken advantage of. It's generally accepted that one who has an international trade dispute, it's discussed and negotiated diplomatically with a degree of privacy to allow for the give and take of negotiations. Typically, it's here where threats and counter threats are applied and the sweating is done. Final victories are made public with handshakes and smiles all around. Knowing this, we again ask, why? Why make public display of concerns and confrontations measured and delivered for the American voters' consumption? Clearly, the Trump Doctrine values the impression it makes on its voting population. So, what is the message being delivered? We have it bad, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to show them who's boss. Beyond the egotistical narrative here, it's a smart strategy, in effect creating a wartime president vibe, fighting the good fight with immediate measurable benefit and no bullets being fired. But is there a deeper strategy here? Looking at the details, America is the biggest and most affluent market in the world. It has a large population of relatively well-off people to sell to. But more importantly, it has a large and well-developed investment community, corporate buyers, and certainly many other vehicles for commerce. To enter this market with goods to sell, one need only gain access to the market. And regardless of what is said now, there were duties and tariffs on many goods, barring entrance to the market, what I'll call market America. But now there are substantially more and broader approaches to paying the entry fee. Strategically speaking and simplistically, if the Trump Doctrine places a tariff on, say, apples from Canada, then the price on the shelf for the apple will be 25% more than the American domestic apples. The reciprocal tariff Canada levies on American apples makes them more expensive too, back up in Canada. But it doesn't end there. Supermarkets are in the business of selling apples and making a profit. In many cases, the store, or indeed the domestic apple supplier, will simply raise the price of their apples to meet the now market price of the tariffed apple. There's past evidence of this effect in the appliance industry, during the last Trump administration, in fact, with appliance dealers equalizing prices to match inflated tariff Chinese products on their showroom floors. Why leave money on the table? It's been explained that this strategy will return the manufacturing jobs to America, but more recently, the rhetoric has been about returning manufacturing wealth to America, a substantial but subtle and important difference. Many of the jobs in manufacturing that disappeared over the decades involved American businesses leveraging the best philosophies of capitalism, the pursuit of better profits through cost reduction. Manufacturing in reduced cost labor markets and lower tax centers is good for business profits, to say nothing of manufacturing in places with reduced government restrictions on environmental issues and workers' rights. But there is another concern here, and that is technology. A great deal of manufacturing jobs worldwide have disappeared because of automation and technology in almost all sectors. The Trump Doctrine of creating hospitable tax-reduced environment to place returning factories may well mate with manufacturing plants of greatly reduced workers than the past. By forcing the issue through tariffs and fortifying the incentive through greater tax abatements, manufacturing may indeed return to America, but the benefits won't be in 1950s era levels of employment. Rather, it will be in manufacturing profits, which typically favor the investor and the owner. It's worth remembering that the Trump administration employs some remarkably successful and intelligent people. None of what I say here would be news to any of them. Additionally, to suggest that they didn't see the reciprocal tariffs coming from Canada, Mexico, China, the EU, and the UK would just be silly. Indeed, I suspect they were planning on it. Today, the price of steel is 25% more than yesterday, everywhere in the Western world, as well as China, which are most of the large markets. Regardless of how we got there, that is the current situation. But these are not profitable increases to the steel companies. This 25% is pure taxation that goes to each respective government. Conspiracy theorists would have fun with a collusionary storyline that all governments actually secretly agreed to this. Regardless, they are going to reap the benefits of this tax. And with no lower priced alternatives, as each domestic market equalizes its prices, we get the same clarity on why this is happening.